I was enraged when I saw that comment. My goodness. How dare you insult me like that? So, Sai, we went viral.
What?
This is the thing. You'd think we'd go viral for the quality content that we put out around investment and finance and all the things we talk about. We went viral because we spoke about Milk Stout to South Africans.
But the South Africans know about Milk Stout.
They do, but I learned some things. There were some things I didn't even know. Like, do you know what it's actually called? The combination and concoction I told you about last week.
Yeah, the Milk Stout and milk.
It's called a 2x1 because it's 2 parts Milk Stout, 1 part milk. It's universally, and I said universally in the last conversation, and somebody jumped in our comments and said, "Oh, but universally means the rest of the world knows about it." And then the rest of South Africa was like, "No, man, you understand what he means." Yes,
correct.
Which we do. So it's called a 2x1, and there are different variations now that are coming up. I mean, someone says they've heard of amarula and milk and beer and milk. So I suppose that's a variation that goes on its own.
To me, coffee and milk, and then I kind of draw a line. Like I don't even drink tea. Or maybe a milkshake.
Yeah, no, this is
milk with my oats in the morning.
South Africans are absolutely loving this. The ratios and things, there's a whole science behind it. I've seen people drink it differently, but I also know this method because I've also seen this method. When you get into a sports bar, a tavern, an establishment of that nature, and you request this, it comes with a 2-liter bottle in some cases. If you're, I suppose, if your bartender is nice enough.
So next time I wander into my local place where I tend to drink from time to time,
ask for a 2x1.
2x1. Fun fact: the barman will know exactly what I mean. $10 they don't serve it.
Well, you can try it and you can let us know. I think South Africa...
And if they do serve it, I'm phoning you to help me drink it.
There we go. But if you haven't seen that, go check out that video. It is somewhere on our TikTok and absolutely going crazy there. But let's get the show on the road. We've got much to discuss and lots to get into. Let's kick things off. Let's get the show on the road.
Unfiltered at 98, our current is collapsing.
The privilege of welcoming one of our good friends into studio.
So not even Buffett listens to Buffett. Sue me, China, if you must. But
1 or 22 on AC, but you're not getting that at home.
And there's quite a bit to discuss.
The stock is not cheap.
The last podcast I did.
Introduce me.
I'm Jimmy Moyaha.
And I'm Simon Brown.
Welcome to Insider Exchange.
We kick the show off, as we always do, with useful updates, the section of the show where we never have enough time. We have far too much to discuss. And if we run out of time, there is a severe penalty that we are yet to find out about. Let's get into useful updates. Oh, the clock is ticking. DStv has a new rideshare model. I call it rideshare because they have announced that they are potentially looking to explore a new payment feature through the My DStv app that will allow you to split the cost with other people. So you can finally benefit from sharing your password. They can pay half the bill.
Well, they could anyway, right? They could just slip you out. But this isn't because I'm sharing the password. The whole point of sharing the password is that lots of us get to be on one thing. And if you're clever, 3 of you use a password for DStv, and 3 of you use the same password for Netflix, and 3 of you do it for Disney, and all ching ching. The only trick is they've got to let you sign in as different people so that you don't miss each other's streams, and then you share passwords.
Yeah, but
the only time my niece phones me is when she needs the Disney
When
code.
she gets logged out.
Yeah, she needs the Disney code.
Yeah, but the challenge with that now, especially with a service provider like Netflix, I don't want to get off topic, is you now have a location thing where they say you're not at your home Wi-Fi and therefore you're not connected.
Easy.
But yes, DStv is looking to explore, well, they're looking to launch that as a service. Next update that we're going to be getting into, South African Airways, 2nd year in a row that we're seeing profits out of them.
Yeah, it's because I'm back flying with them, man. So then you
Frequent flyer with your Voyager miles.
Yeah, I got the Voyager miles, but not so much frequent flyer anymore. Yeah, it turns out you can make money if you run it properly. Derek Hanekom's still the chair. I can't remember.
I believe so. I don't think that has changed of late. But nevertheless, I mean, I suppose we have to celebrate when state-owned entities make a profit. We know Eskom announced that they would be making a profit as well, but we also know that it's easy to make a profit when you've been bailed out for several billions of rands. So, different conversation for another day, but South African Airways making a profit. That's all good and well. Next update from our side. Mining Indaba kicks off this week in Cape Town. Yeah. All of the focus on the mining sector, all the conversations around...
It's about partnerships is the theme after Glencore and Rio said...
no partnership.
Awkward.
Yeah, so that deal fell through and that was a bit awkward. But from an Indaba perspective, we know that usually the conversations are, let's talk about collaboration and this and that. This year's theme is critical minerals and the focus on that. I couldn't help but notice rare earths still very much the focal point, very topical at the moment.
Yeah.
And China still wanting to lead that race, and the IDC announcing as well alongside that they would be investing into one of our local facilities, $20 million in financing via the way of Europe, because the company in South Africa is headquartered in Luxembourg. So very interesting.
Always remember, rare earths not so rare, but deeply polluting. They ugly, they messy.
Wait, so we've given up on just energy transitions or clean energy? What?
There is nothing clean about rare earth, but there are clever ways to do it. So Rio Tinto has got little bugs that go down and do stuff.
Really?
I didn't understand.
Huh.
Yeah.
Rare earths. What a weird take. Economic data coming out this week. That is the next update.
Yes.
There is CPI data coming out of China, CPI data coming out of America. There is also non-farm payrolls that for some reason are coming out on Wednesday.
I thought
right.
that made no sense to me.
I thought I was seeing things.
Data. Yeah.
Unemployment data, fine. That usually comes out with non-farms, but that usually comes out the first Friday of the month.
Which would have been last Friday.
And I thought, okay, maybe because we've recently had a temporary government shutdown or whatever. But Wednesday? What's happening? Is this going to be a new thing? Is this going to be a new trend?
I have no idea what's happening in America, dude. Nothing. Like, I don't have clues. I've given up.
Well, there is a Super Bowl, and that is conversation for later in the show. We're going to do a deep dive into the Super Bowl business model, so tune in for that and all of those discussions. But this is a weird update, and we don't really know how to make sense of it. Let's take a break. Let's take a snack break. Still snackless because we haven't got good snack recommendations.
Snack break with no snacks.
But we're going to take a snack break and we'll be back. And we're back. We're going to look into the next update is the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK. The FCA is looking to publish trading data for London-listed shares in an effort to counter what is considered under-reporting of market liquidity. So they're looking to increase transparency on market liquidity on UK-listed shares.
I like this.
That announcement came through this morning.
Yeah, and that would. So why isn't the LSE doing it? I suppose the LSE isn't, and they're saying, well, then we will.
Yeah, so I suppose and it would make sense that it would sit with the exchange themselves, not the regulatory body that oversees the sector.
You would think.
You would think. Huh.
Okay.
Very interesting update. I suppose we'll see how that shapes up and what it does for, I guess, volumes and trading activity and whatever is reported.
I mean, it's a very nerdy thing. I mean, but cool.
But useful for traders, useful for investors, hedge funds, asset managers, and the like. Next update, Africa Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank. South Africa officially upgraded themselves from a Class B shareholder to a Class A shareholder.
How did they do that?
I think we signed, President Ramaphosa signed a specific order. I think it's a session order of sorts.
Did we have to send money?
We're getting money.
That's what I see. Because, I'm pretty cool. So I got an upgrade and I got money. This is not how airlines and hotels work, eh?
This is not how they work. We're getting $11 billion, of which $3 billion has been earmarked for the Transformation Fund. That's half the Transformation Fund already.
Yeah, the Transformation Fund I got bugbears with. The rest of it going on to the Just Energy Transition-y thing. I think this is cool. I have to say, I'd never heard of them. I thought this was like a new name for the BRICS Bank. Apparently there is a BRICS Bank and there is a Afreximbank Bank.
Yeah, different banks, completely different things.
Cool.
And then there's still the African Development Bank. And there's still the African Development Bank, which is different. And then there's still the Development Bank of Southern Africa, which is DBSA in South Africa.
Correct.
Completely different. There's a lot of banks. A lot of DFIs.
That DBSA is an interesting one, but off topic. We have got no time for that.
Yeah, we don't have time for that. Next update that we're going to get into is Hyprop.
Yeah, selling another mall. So remember they tried to sell half of Hyde Park with a put option?
And then that deal didn't happen.
Anyway, they're keeping Hyde Park because no one wants it. And now they're selling, and I can't remember which one, they're selling another mall. And they're still saying it's because, they want to get out of Gauteng.
That's a strange thing as well. If that is the case, then from a Hyprop perspective, surely you should then go into ensuring you can at least sell one of your assets before trying to sell the other ones.
Well, that's a good point because you've let the market know. Also, they're keeping 50% of this one, which they're very excited about, which confuses me. It's
a liquidity raise. It's not trying to exit. It's wanting to say we still want the economic benefit, but we want to reduce our risk. Surely.
What are they going to do with the money?
Probably put it into one of the other projects.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
They're exiting.
Last update that we have, and we have 50 seconds to get through that. Gold price back above $5,000 a fine ounce. So much for a sell-off.
Yeah, so you blinked and you missed it. And so this is kind of like the sell-off we had back in October. Same sort of story. Blinked, missed it. Apparently, I mean, Yeah, it's crazy. I thought there was going to be consolidation in the 4,000s or something. I wake up this morning, gold's like, hey, hello, 5.
That's it. Bounced down to 4,400, all the way from 5,600, and now we're back at 5,000. And I suspect we're going to break that $5,600 fine ounce level.
Yeah, look, I mean, the whole thing's crazy. What the heck? Rand's $15.99. Things are like the week before last. Just didn't happen. Don't worry about it.
Basically,
We had
ignore everything
an
that happened in the
entire
last week. Yes.
That just didn't matter.
But what does matter is we're still in time. We're not in trouble. Yet another week. Useful updates done and dusted. In our deep dive this week, we are diving into the economics and business of the Super Bowl. This is for largely the benefit of those of our community that are not based in America. We have a lot, we have quite a big community in America, and they have an understanding of this. But we thought we'd dig into this because it seems as though this entire ecosystem that is known as Super Bowl weekend is a giant business with various aspects of it. So we're going to dive into that and see if we can make sense of it. So I saw quite an interesting article from Time Magazine. Oh, I used to get a subscription of Time Magazine growing up. My father used to have one, and I remember distinctly, like, we used to have physical magazines. I don't know if they still make Time Magazine or still bring it into South Africa anymore. I haven't seen one in a while, but not the point of the discussion. The Super Bowl weekend. For many years, Americans have made this huge fuss about this thing.
Like, it's a big thing. It's like it's Super Bowl and Thanksgiving are their big parties.
Yes.
For us, it's December.
Yeah, the whole month.
The whole month.
The whole month, Americans, the whole month.
We don't mess around. You take like one Sunday, one Thursday. No.
Whole
we
month.
take a month.
South Africans, we love you
And
for
then
that.
we take half of January to recover. So it's actually 6 weeks. It is giant. And I got to say, I watched some of their, whatever they call it, gridiron. And it's Joe, man. I still, like, if I can't sleep, that's the perfect way to do it.
Really?
I don't know. It was slow, man. It was slow.
Yeah, so the Super Bowl...
And they went, ha, ha, ha. And nothing happened. All
Very
that build-up.
anticlimactic.
Yeah. Anyway.
But Super Bowl weekend, I thought we'd take a look at kind of the economics behind it, because there's a study that suggests that weekend, from an earnings perspective, adds anywhere between $370 to $600 million in earnings across the various aspects. And I mean, there are a number of aspects behind this weekend, right? So there's the betting component of it, which we'll get into. There's the halftime Super Bowl performance, which we'll get into. There's the advertising that goes into that. There's ticket sales. There's job creation. All of those aspects of the Super Bowl. And I think perhaps getting into them individually would kind of give us a sense of just how big this event is in the United States. Now, for context, I mean, I don't think it's as big as some of the other global sporting events, although Americans out there might disagree with us.
Well, I mean, it can't be. I mean, there are how many Americans? If every American watched it, that's got some 300 million. The World Cup soccer and stuff gets more than 300 million.
We're in billion territory.
But the numbers are insane. I mean, you talk about betting. I mean, I just looked at Kalshi, which was one of the prediction websites. They took $500 million of volume. Just on the one. That's just on who's going to win.
Yes.
Fun fact.
So on one line item, one betting.
35 million on who's going to attend.
Yes.
Will Matt Damon be there? Will Jason Cole? I mean, another...
According to the American Gaming Association, they estimate that over that weekend, Americans will wager almost $2 billion in wagers. So 1.76 or so about on the game itself in various forms, obviously with some of the numbers that you mentioned there. So from a betting perspective...
I think even more than that, if these oaks are doing $500 million.
Yes, and that's just one organization, right?
Yeah.
So there are many different betting houses, many different... And you can bet on anything.
Yeah, dude, you can bet on You can bet on how many times Elon Musk will tweet. You can bet on how racist Donald Trump's going to be. I mean, you can bet on anything.
That's true. And this is the thing. From a Super Bowl perspective, a large component of what goes into that weekend, alongside something like the betting, is the advertising. So I saw something interesting that, according to Bloomberg, a 30-second ad on Super Bowl weekend would range from a cost perspective, would cost you round about $10 million at this year's Super Bowl.
10 million.
For a 30-second ad.
Actually, I remember some company was taking an ad and then the CEO was thrashing it out on Twitter. And so it's 10 million for that, but ultimately it's going to cost him 20 million because now he's got to get, it's a weight loss. So he's got, is it Venus Williams?
Serena. That's the thing. RO, the company, RO, and they're promoting a GL1 product. I made a note of that specifically because that tells us something about the Super Bowl environment as well, is the advertising and the exposure that you would then get in that one event or in that one weekend, especially on the Sunday game, is warranted or justifies the fact that companies are being charged $10 million for a 30-second advert.
Dollars. That would make SABC liquid for well, actually, with Khari Musaneng, it would have lasted a weekend. But still, otherwise.
So this is the thing. I brought it back to a conversation you and I had, Sai, around the Formula One. We had spoken about Formula One in South Africa and what that would potentially do from a numbers perspective. And I think the Super Bowl is a good example from an eventing perspective of what one single event that becomes a traditional thing can actually do for an ecosystem and an economy. Right now in South Africa, unfortunately, folks, we do have some sad news to deliver on that. It looks as though we're not going to get a Formula One race next year. It looks as though...
Yeah, but Gayton McKenzie was
overly ambitious.
That's polite of you, yes. Overly ambitious. That's about right.
But we had everything.
No, man, all we have is a track.
Yes, and that is most of what you need. The rest of what you need is a government that will understand how to run this event and not put money behind it.
You've got to fix the track.
It is fixed.
We've got to be F1 fixed.
It is. Sir Toby Fenter and...
Well, then why aren't we getting an F1?
Because of the licensing. And the cost of the licensing. That sits squarely with the government. Usually when the FIA gets into these relationships and these agreements, they rely on the government to anchor that licensing over the 10-year period. We spoke about that in our previous conversation. There is no appetite from our government to do that. And as a result, we find ourselves in the situation we're in. But not the topic of discussion for today. If the South African government and the Minister of Sport would like us to do the numbers for them on F1, we'll do that for you and show you that this can actually work. Super Bowl, right? Advertising is something else because MrBeast went on to, everybody kind of gets an idea who he is. He used that as a platform to launch a $1 million puzzle, which we'll get into later in the show if we have time for that. But the idea behind this fact that you have this concentration of viewership that allows you to then leverage that into sales, into advertising, into other aspects, is multiple revenue streams for an event like the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it is, I mean, it's a cultural event. Now, I mean, there was the Turning Point peeps went and did some lip syncing, but broadly, it is a huge American cultural event. It's like if you could sponsor December in South Africa, which you
basically
can't, but it's that.
Well, nobody's ever tried. Not to say you can't.
Well,
nobody's
actually,
ever tried.
Yeah, some of the telcos tried to in the early parts of the century. They tried to sort of take it over and pretend it was all theirs. It kind of worked, but not quite. But it's that. Like everyone is doing the same thing. It's astounding. When I can't think of anything else when an entire country is like
unified.
Yeah, because even if you're thinking about like elections, like the Japanese elections, like the whole country wasn't watching and voting. Like maybe a third voted and maybe a third of the third looked at the numbers. Here is something where everyone is there.
And they're all involved, right?
Yeah, betting and this and that. And even in South Africa, if the second best rugby team in the world, which to be clear is the Sharks, if the second best, and the best being the Springboks, of course. If the second best rugby team in the world is in a final, like everyone in Durban is watching. Well, no, not even. You see, because my sister wouldn't, my niece wouldn't. No, my niece would, my nephew wouldn't. Yeah, because like your team isn't there and people still watch. If my team's not there, I don't care.
This is the thing. I think people get involved in, and what you're saying is quite important around the fact that even if your team's not in the final, you're still there and present and watching. And I think another huge aspect of that is the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, sure. Which is, yeah.
which is the big main attraction
Prince,
behind it,
yeah.
right? But the interesting thing about that is Prince,
Madonna,
every single
everyone.
person, including Bad Bunny, who's headlined that Super Bowl halftime show, doesn't get paid as much as you would think.
Well, riddle me that.
So there's something called a union scale, which guarantees a minimum wage, which is effectively a little more than $1,000 a day, right? And that gets paid over to the artist. However, think about, again, go back to this.
Hold on, who's deciding this union scale? I got $10. It's the bosses, right?
Rumor has it that for many, many years, the person, I don't know if they decide the scale, but one of the individuals who selects who performs at the halftime Super Bowl is Jay-Z. He's got some level of measure and control over that part of...
Yeah, because don't leave it to the bosses.
Well, I suppose leave it to an entertainment...
Yeah.
individual to do that. But from a pay perspective, it's not that you would get paid your normal concert fee, right? Or your normal performance fee. However, there are some perks in that, again, from an advertising
get a
point of
front
view.
row seat to the
Exactly. And I suppose you also then get to... You get exposure. If any time has been the time to have the conversation about being paid in exposure, it is the Super Bowl halftime show, right? But the NFL as well, over and above all of that, covers your production costs. So if you've got this production you want to put on and this and that, the cost it would take you to put... I mean, think about Taylor Swift's Eras Tour and how much she put into that
Yeah,
from
because
a
this
production
time just
perspective.
had some girls dancing on stage.
Right. Well, this is the thing.
And Lady Gaga.
The advantage to having this happen is that from an exposure perspective, you have that. You don't have to incur the cost yourselves. And so many artists look for this because it is almost the pinnacle of the largest crowd you can perform in front of. It's the equivalent of selling out a stadium because you don't have to do any of the sales. You don't have to promote the
fair point.
concert.
Yeah.
You want them to choose
I want to know who this union is who sets the scale at $1,000. No, because I suspect that it's the big bosses like Mark Cuban and stuff who own the franchises. And I don't know. Folks, fact check me. He owns one, but not the other. All the American sports blend into each other. And they've just said, no, this is union rate, so they can keep the money.
But it's $1,000 a day. So for rehearsals and performance and all of that. So maybe
okay.
7 days, call it 7 to 10 days.
I mean,
prior.
$1,000. I mean, that's almost...
It's not much.
It's like what we get almost at like $1,000.
That's not much. But for what you get out of it, I suppose that is another huge component of it. And in that as well, I mean, if you look at the rest of it, I mean, we've covered the...
Okay, my bad. Bad Bunny also had sugarcane fields on his stage.
Yes, he did.
I'm singing.
Yes.
Carry on.
So the other, I mean, if you think about
Mind you,
all of the
Puerto
other
Rico.
aspects of it, ticket sales, we haven't even gotten into ticket sales.
Well,
and
and just general TV, right?
That's
if you're paying
it.
$10 million for a thing, how much does NBC or whoever who
stream
streams
it.
the game
Yes.
actually pay to have the game?
ticket sales estimate around $400 million in revenue. So that in and of itself tells you how many people are willing to show up, how much they're willing to pay to be there. And obviously there's a sliding scale. The closer you are to the field, the more expensive those tickets will get, or box tickets and suite tickets and all of that. But between ticket sales, advertising, the halftime show, the government earnings so government would then earn taxes and all of that as well, of course. And for the government, I mean, that's estimated in the millions as well, depending on where it is that you're looking. I mean, one of the reports said that the government would see about $16 million in revenue in the Bay Area where it was hosted from what they would collect from their part. But
Levi Stadium. I mean, I now know that Levi Stadium exists.
See, so
I have no idea where it is. I'm never going there. But
never-
we just now said Levi 3 times.
and still reference the same, point of reference. But this is the thing. So from a business perspective, there's still the tourism aspect of it. There's certain people that then fly in for Super Bowl or that come from other areas to come and witness this and be part of this and the jobs that are created and all of that. The whole ecosystem as a whole clearly is a profitable thing that people are willing to do on an annual basis.
Yeah. I mean, the whole, yeah. And it is that cultural thing. It's that, because it's the adverts. I mean, they're on Twitter, and they will do millions of views, not Twitter, YouTube, and they'll do millions of views, and yeah.
Would you like to know what one of the craziest bets was at the Super Bowl?
Yes. I love crazy bets.
And it's from Kalshi, the platform that you mentioned earlier. Somebody placed a bet on whether or not Bad Bunny would fall on stage during the halftime performance. Now, there was a 2% chance that that he would. Right?
He didn't.
The three, and they placed a bet to the tune of $3,500. The payout on that bet was $175,000. And he fell.
And he fell. So here's the thing. Here's just a thought. And I got nothing. I know
where this is going, and I like it.
I got no things on Bad Bunny. But if Bad Bunny were a clever oak and being told you're getting union rates of $1,000 a day, Bad Bunny goes and places takes his $3,500 that he got payment and thinks to himself, that's not very much. Makes a little bet on Kalshi and maybe another one also on Polymarket and all the others, etc. And then falls, clocks 175, and instead of getting paid $3,500, he got paid $175,000.
Yeah, did you not see the bet that, I don't know if it was a legitimate bet, but when Trevor Noah opened the Grammys, he opened with the word potato. And then he said, for those that had a bet on me saying potato at the Grammys, congratulations. So he kind of teased at the exact same thing to say, and then
but who are those? Is it Trevor Noah?
It was an account. It was an account that said Noah_22. So because we don't know.
Yeah, because there was the one CEO, I forget which company, who was like saying words randomly at the end of his earnings call, and he's like, "Sorry, I got to quickly get these words in because they're betting them on the." And that's the problem with these.
This is the problem with creating markets and then telling the people that you've created a market about that. Hey, this is how much you would win. But
okay, that Bunny man's gone up lots in my estimation. Yeah. No, I like him.
See, betting on everything. This is the problem with it, folks. This is where it becomes a bigger problem than is necessary.
Clear, you're starting to having a gambling problem, but like you also got $175,000. So hey,
to deal with your gambling problem,
he fell on the stage. I mean,
sometime during the performance,
Prince played in the pouring rain.
Yes,
probably in high heels because it was Prince. He didn't fall,
but he didn't have $175,000 riding on that. So Bad Bunny might have had 175,000 reasons to fall.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Dude, I would have fallen twice for that. I mean, I can fall now.
See? Someone wants to pay us to fall on set, we'll do it. Player payouts. That's probably the last aspect of...
I had forgotten about that. They get money too.
They get money too. Everybody gets paid.
They get an ugly ring.
Yeah. Everybody gets paid at the Super Bowl.
So what do they get?
So they get... money, cash. The winning team receives $178,000 each player in that winning team, just to be clear. Each player in the losing team receives $103,000. So there's about $75,000 difference between winning the Super Bowl and not for each and every player. That's quite an incentive.
I don't think that's a lot of money at all.
No. The difference in the final.
Sure. Yeah. But you just got 4 bar, you just won. I mean, what did our rugby players get for the World Cup? Put it this way, if our soccer players won the Soccer World Cup, dude, they're going to get more than that because every South African is going to give them $10, and that is therefore that's 600 million per player.
Well, that also might have something to do with the World Cup prize money being in a currency that is much stronger than the South African rand. Not that much stronger because we're back below 16 rand against the dollar there. But player payouts, that's another aspect of it. So if you look at this entire thing, this event, everybody gets paid.
Yeah. So it seems.
The government gets paid, the NFL gets paid, the
Pepsi,
players get paid.
You bought chips and cool drink.
That's it. And in some cases, yes, you might not get paid the same as other individuals, other organizations. But if I'm willing to drop $10 million on an ad, and mind you, the ad that we're referencing here, the RO ad with GLP-1 and Serena Williams, we still haven't accounted for how much that company pays Serena Williams as an influencer.
I'm just thinking, because you know what, Serena Williams is many things, but man, she doesn't need to lose weight, surely. and as the best tennis player, maybe we could say the second best after that Serbian guy. She wasn't 10 million, right? She was more.
I
I would wager.
just on that topic, I stand corrected, but I do believe Serena does hold more Grand Slams than Novak Djokovic. That's the Serbian you're referring to.
Yes.
Let's check. I'll check
So
that.
it's 24.
I
I'm
think
not sure.
While we're looking at that, the other thing that apparently 23 Grand Slams.
Let's make them both goats then.
Yes,
They evens.
even Stevens.
Yeah.
But she might be coming back. There is a rumor, tennis fans, that Serena Williams might be making a return.
So, fun fact: I remember when Venus Williams won her first Wimbledon, and this must have been 20 plus years ago. And in the interview, Venus said, "Yeah, Williams, check my sister; she's even better."
She wasn't lying about that.
She wasn't lying
I
about
used to,
that.
I used to love watching the Williams sisters in doubles matches.
That was just
that was just unfair for everybody
Cruel
else,
and
but it was
unusual
great
punishment.
to
Yeah,
watch.
okay. Off topic, but yes.
Off topic, completely off topic. But proof that, and I guess this is the note we can wrap it up on, proof that the Super Bowl is, for Americans, the best place to get maximum exposure.
Yeah. Okay. Now we must do this later in the year when we have the World Cup, the soccer. Yeah.
So, maximum exposure. Kim Kardashian and Sir Lewis Hamilton used the Super Bowl to officially hard launch their relationship. If that doesn't tell you that that's ultimate publicity, I don't know what will.
So I don't understand what you mean when you say hard launch. And
so
I
soft
thought
launch
that
is
was
kind of
fake
like
news.
these are rumors happening.
Hold on,
all
so
of
Lewis
that.
Hamilton is dating Kim Kardashian.
That's what it looks like from the Super Bowl pictures that have been circulating. They were spotted together with
I need to sit
families
down.
and things. Yes. Well, you're sitting down. You need to sit down again.
I need to lie down. I thought that was a fake news.
Well, I thought so too, until I saw a separate post that said that Kanye West was potentially looking at full custody over his daughter because he doesn't want his daughter being around random men. Now, I don't know if Sir Lewis is random men, but in the context of what is happening in the moment, in the timelines of life, it seems plausible that that's what he was referring to.
I need to lie down.
But the
Yeah.
the engine, the machine of American publicity in the form of Kris Jenner clearly evidenced that that is the greatest stage to launch something on. Because we know she manages everything quite clearly. Si, before we wrap up the show, you did ask soft launch, hard launch, right? So soft launch is kind of like we're teasing this into the market, right? So think about it in the context of business, relationships, anything. It's just like this might be happening. Simon might be buying a sports car. And then, and then hard launch is, okay, this is happening. There's keys to the car. You see what I mean? So it's almost like think of it like that. Think of it like, okay, but is this happening? Is it not? What are the rumors saying? Who's talking about it? And that's more of a soft launch. And then a hard launch is, hey, we saw them. They're together. They kissed on screen. They didn't do that. I don't know if they did that. I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I don't know if that happened. But
the best thing, and I've said this before, to ever happen to me was to be a kid in the 80s. Dude, like I had none of this. I mean, we probably did have hard and soft launches, but it was simple. And I did stuff. And there's no evidence, man. There is crickets. You can't prove nothing. You've got nothing on me.
Well, we could find stuff, but it'd probably be
No, you've got nothing. Because I was always the oak with the camera, so I was always behind the camera.
Oh, nice.
You've got nothing on me. Nothing.
See, what a time to be
I could
alive.
have stolen Bad Bunnies and no one would know. Okay.
That's the deep dive. We're going to leave it on that note. We're going to get into Make It Make Sense. We're going to try and make sense of some very interesting developments from a numbers perspective and some announcements that are truly bizarre. Stick around for that. And we are moving on to our Make It Make Sense. We're going to be trying to make sense of some developments, some that we missed last week, but that was because we were busy making sense of other things, but they're still relevant. We're going to get into that. Let's start with local news. The blue cars are back, Si. The blue cars are back. Do you remember the blue cars that were seized by the Special Investigating Unit?
Yes, the Lamborghinis.
For conversations that, yes.
What do you mean they're back?
The special tribunal, this has been news all over the weekend, has ruled that the vehicles need to be temporarily returned to the dealership that owns them because they're not in any individual's name, but rather in the name of the dealership. And so they've been given back while the investigation.
Okay, so they didn't belong to the oak who they took them from.
Technically speaking. However, the dealership has also been made aware that this is under certain conditions. They need to provide security equal to each vehicle's market value, insure the vehicles, and make sure that before any of those vehicles can be sold, they obtain approval. Basically, the vehicles remain under the control of the court-appointed curator. So they're given back to their legal owner, but it's not as simple as saying, hey, you've got your cars back, the whole case is over, and nothing is going to happen there. The SIU has come out to comment on this and say it's not going to deter their case. They're still going to proceed with everything. But just for context, I mean, a reminder of the vehicles that we're referring to here. 2 Aston Martins, 2 Ferraris, and a Rolls-Royce.
That's quite cunning, actually. So I don't need to buy a Ferrari at all. I can just pay the insurance.
And have the dealership own the vehicle for
like
you.
this.
Well, you'd have to have, but you'd have to have a really good relationship with the dealership.
That's cool.
Maybe too good of a relationship with the dealership.
Okay.
That's what's happening there. We don't need to make sense of much there because we are not the courts. We have not ruled on that. The next thing we're going to be trying to make sense of is something that happened towards the end of January. And we completely put it aside because, well, for one, I didn't think it was going to happen, but it has happened. And we are going to get into it. Si, did you know that following the departure from the United Nations, President Trump, and this only came up because he recently signed the constitution thereof. They had an inaugural meeting recently of
He's
President
pretending
Trump's...
to care about a constitution.
Well, there's an international organization that has been established by President Trump, known as the Board of Peace. Its efforts are stated to be for the purposes of promoting peacekeeping around the world, and they recently held their inaugural meeting where he signed their constitution, and the Board of Peace is real, Si. The Board of Peace is real.
Well, yeah, okay, so the Board of Peace is real because it makes perfect sense, right? For the 2 reasons. One is that Trump is starting to realize that actually he's not going to get a third term. Like, he's just not going to get a third term. So what does he do from January 21, 2029? Aside from go to jail. So he's thinking to himself, so he's made this whole Board of Peace thing. So what he's got here is this whole big committee, and he can pretend he's important, and he can flit around and tweet his truths, and everyone has to pay $1 billion, and et cetera, et cetera.
Sorry, Si, let's pause there. Folks, the $1 billion Si is referencing is for organizations that want to be not organizations, countries that want to be part of the Board of Peace. There is an entry fee of $1 billion. Go on, Si.
Yeah, so, and this is just his relevance post being president, instead of just going and reading books in his library because, well...
He doesn't read.
Correct. Yeah.
$1 billion, Si.
No, but if you're an authoritarian regime...
$1 billion.
If you're waging a genocide or a war or something like that, and you need a bit of washing, then this is your thing. It's cheap. Come on, Saudi Arabia is spending multiples of billions of dollars to try and pretend that they're lovely people. And
what if you get, whilst President Trump is president, you get humanitarian aid out of the United States to the tune of several $1 billion. Can you use one of those billions to buy back into the world of peace, into the Board of Peace? Does it count?
Sure. I mean, you slip Trump a small billion, probably even a small million, whatever you want.
Look, I find it strange from a Board of Peace perspective that you've decided to name this what you've named it because nobody would give you a Nobel. But that's a story for another day. That's just it seems very conveniently.
Still over 1,000 days. I'm not even going to Google.
Oh, don't do that. Don't say that. We just got through 365 days. So yes, the Board of Peace does exist, folks. Anybody out there, Please, if you can, help us make sense of that and its intended purpose. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that. The final update, or the final item we're going to try and make sense of, is back to the Super Bowl, what we were referencing around the puzzle that MrBeast put out. Now, obviously, from a marketing perspective, he's going to generate a lot more than the prize money he's giving away, but he's giving away $1 million to anyone that can solve the series of puzzles that he's put up as part of this challenge.
Yeah, and he's doing it. So $1 million in MrBeast's life is like Tuesday, right? I mean, like, to be clear.
Lunch on Tuesday.
Yeah. And he's doing it with Salesforce. This is a whole big thing for they've got a app and an AI.
Slackbot.
There we go, that thing. All very lacquer and all. So the T's and C's are you got to be in America.
Oh.
No, Canada or Mexico.
What?
No, Trump can't be liking that part. Hang on, let me quickly pause. And it ends on, because Americans, they do their dates wrong. It ends on the 2nd of April.
Okay.
And he's going to be dropping clues every time. So these things, I hate them. Just
why?
for the record. So Sunday Times did one, and I went and I found it. So Sunday Times did one, and it started in the late 80s. Like, the internet didn't exist then, so they're not sure. They're just like the late 80s. And it was called The Finders Keepers, and you won $1 million ZAR in the late 80s.
When bread was still 5 cents. Or thereabouts.
But then it was about 5 cents. Yeah. Hey, I remember when milk was half a cent. And anyway, so I hated these things because we would get the Sunday Times and I would look and I could never solve it. And it went all the way apparently until 2016. But these things are like too hard for my brain.
What do they do? What were
They
the Sunday
like give
Times
you
ones?
clues. Like they show you like an upside down banana next to a peacock and that means something. That means that means Wednesday. I can't do that stuff, man. It's like my brain don't work like that. My brain just don't work. My brain just like these because like I remember we went to get the Sunday Times, and
that's all you looked for in the newspaper.
And like, I'm a smart kid. Surely I can do this.
Yeah.
I know I can't.
Maybe we can try them
I
these
never
days.
got a single clue.
Yeah, but now you're older and wiser. Maybe you'll have the answers.
No, you think I'm older and stupider, man. There's more brain cells have decayed. Like I can't do these things, man. But yeah. And only $1 million, man. It should be like $1 billion.
It's interesting because these sorts of challenges and things, you start to see them come up more and more. And perhaps we'll do a deep dive on that in the form of sort of a trade marketing thing, right? So we promise you a prize if you enter a competition. I saw one as well where they said you can buy a raffle ticket to win an Audi TT in Cape Town. The raffle ticket costs you 100 Rand, but the caveat there is we will only then announce the winner once we've sold X amount of tickets. Correct. So you effectively cover the cost of that vehicle for yourself, and then you are not incurring as the promoter any real cost to give away that prize. I've been seeing a lot more of those things coming up lately.
Yeah, so those are, I always think a little bit dodgy, but I think you're right, absolutely. And you know, $1 million. I mean, the advert cost them 10 million.
Yes,
let's be clear.
Yes.
So, and if you've seen the advert, the making of the advert, I mean, like the $1 million.
The production, the production looks like it cost them another 10 million.
Frankly, MrBeast probably cost them $1 million. Like the $1 million is cheap.
This is something we don't know how to make sense of. We unfortunately cannot enter the MrBeast puzzle, but our American community, let us know if you guys are interested.
I have a Mexican friend who will split it with you.
Oh, there we go. We've got a Mexican friend who'll split it with us. We're going to enter. Don't tell that to President Trump. We're going to leave that on that note. That's the show, folks. That's the week. We're going to part ways with you until next time. But of course, before we go, we have an unfiltered opinion for you. This week's unfiltered opinion of the week, given that we are in Lovers Month, is...
So first off, how does Lovers Month also fall into tax year end, man? That is like someone shafted us
SARS
over.
is going to love you differently if you don't pay them.
Anyway, so Valentine's. Here's a top tip from someone who, like, I used to work in restaurants. You're going to take your lovely person, you're going to go to a restaurant, you're going to sit so close to someone that when they burp, you bounce and stuff like that. The kitchen is not, that restaurant is set for like 80 people, but they've squeezed 150 people in. The kitchen is doing mass production, man. KFC is going to be more tasty than this. The food, the experience, it's all going to be horrid. Go a week later. Just skip Valentine's, go on the 21st, get proper food, have space, buy a rose. Don't sit there cheek to jowl eating C-grade food.
Defer your Valentine's Day. Don't cancel
but
it.
do tell them. Do tell the significant other, because otherwise they might think that you're...
That's a small bit of very useful information that I think you should have led with, Si.
Okay. Editor man. So, Valentine's, here's a top tip. Tell them.
Tell them that you're going to take them to Valentine's on another day and make sure do they have to agree to it? I suppose make sure.
Well, you could go on Thursday.
Or you can go on Thursday. Go either a day earlier or a week later, but don't go on Valentine's Day because
It's a
that's
horrible experience.
It's an unnecessary thing. Nobody needs that in our lives. That's the unfiltered opinion of the week. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Remember, investing is not hard. Just try it.